December is AIDS Awareness Month, and today part of the AIDS quilt is here in Bakersfield. The quilt first started back in 1987 as an effort to remember those who have died from this disease. Now quilt panels are on display around the world. 17's Paige Hansen joins us live from the Metro Gallery, where some of those panels are already up. Good morning, Paige.
Good morning, Katie. And you can see a few of the 8 panels that are here on display at the Metro Art Galleries behind me. And each panel represents a person who died from AIDS. Together, the quilt is more than 1.2 million square feet in size. But the quilt is broken up into 12 feet by 12 feet panels, and they're broken up and displayed around the world. And we have some video from last year's display. And this is the second year that the Metro Art Galleries has displayed this AIDS memorial quilt here. And there are more than 91,000 names and panels on the quilt, representing 17% of all U.S. AIDS deaths. In Kern County, 2,600 cases of AIDS have been reported since 1981, and the Department of Public Health here says AIDS cases are on the rise. However, the number of deaths due to AIDS is falling because of antiviral medication. Now I'm here with Don Martin, who runs the Metro Art Galleries here downtown. And Don, this is the second year you guys have done this. Why is this an important event for people to come and check out today?
Well, it's not only education, but it's people to come see, the people that we've lost over the last 20 or 30 years. It's a somber experience, but it's also kind of, I think, a celebration of their lives.
And you said that last year you had hundreds of people come through the door. Why is this something that you wanted to host again this year?
Well, I myself have lost several friends to AIDS, and I think, as I said, it's something that people need to come out and see, not only the folks that we've lost, but there's some education, I think, involved here too.
Okay, and what's going to be happening today when you come and you're here all day, basically? So tell us what people will see.
Yeah, it starts at 10 a.m. this morning and runs till 9 p.m. tonight. They're going to be reading names every 2 hours of local folks that have passed away. And it'll also be a chance, again, just to come out and see the quilt. There'll be a reception tonight beginning at 6 o'clock as well.
Okay, great. And we have that information. It's up on the screen. So again, Metro Art Galleries is here on 19th Street, and the viewing is free, so feel free to stop by anytime, again, until 9 o'clock this evening. There are 91,000 names and panels on the quilt that travels around the world. And here at the Metro Art Galleries downtown, we have 8 different quilts. You can see these behind me. Each panel represents someone who died from the AIDS disease. And several of the panels here were made by local families who lost someone to AIDS. And if you look right here down, we're going to pan down now. This panel is made for Joyce Bowden. She is a Bakersfield girl who died from AIDS in 1993, and we have some video from last year of the display. Her panel was also here last year at the Metro Art Galleries, and in our county, more than 2,600 cases of HIV or AIDS have been reported since 1981, and Joyce Sullivan lived with the disease for 8 years. Joyce Bowden, rather. Her mom has made it her mission to keep Joyce's legacy alive by raising awareness on the disease, and Jackie Sullivan joins me now. Thank you so much for coming out this morning.
Thank you, Paige.
And you really have made it your mission to raise awareness about this. What have you learned since your daughter died in 1993?
Well, the main thing, Paige, is that if this can happen to our family and take my lovely daughter, it can happen to anyone that puts themselves at risk. People need to be educated how they can get infected, and if they have had any risky behavior at all, mainly, of course, drug use or unprotected sex. And that's how Joyce got infected when she was a very young girl, 21 years old actually. They need to get themselves tested, and if they're not infected, just thank God that they're not, and just not take any chances at all, because it just takes one time to get infected, and then there are no do-overs. You are going to end up dying from this disease. People are living longer, which is wonderful, but yet still it just changes your life, and it's not a good thing.
And I know that you have your sweatshirt on representing your daughter, and you can see some of the 8 panels that are on display here at the Metro Art Galleries downtown behind me. Together, the quilt is more than 1.2 million square feet, but the quilt is broken up into 12-foot by 12-foot panels, and they're displayed at different places around the world. Each panel represents someone who died from the AIDS disease, and we actually have some video from last year's display. This is the second year that the Metro Art Galleries downtown has had this quilt on display here, and there are more than 91,000 names and panels on the quilt, representing 17% of all U.S. AIDS deaths. And in Kern County, 2,600 cases of AIDS have been reported since 1981, and the Department of Public Health here says the AIDS cases are on the rise. However, the number of deaths because of AIDS is falling, mostly because of antiviral medication. And Don Martin is with me now. He runs the Metro Art Galleries downtown. Don, thanks for joining us again. And you had this last year, and you said that hundreds of people came through the door. Why is this an important, I guess it's almost an art exhibit, really, for people to come and check out?
Well, it is an art exhibit. It's kind of an exhibit of these folks' lives, and it's really important, I think, for people to come down because it's an educational thing. You can come and you can really feel the spirit, I think. It's an emotional thing, but it's a good thing.
Okay. And what will people see? It starts at 10 o'clock this morning. What can people expect if they come in today?
We'll be from 10 to 9 tonight. We have a reception tonight at 6 o'clock. They're reading names of the local folks that we've lost every 2 hours today.
There are 91,000 names and panels on the quilt, and 8 of those panels are actually here on display in the Metro Art Galleries downtown. And several of the panels were actually made by local families here in Bakersfield who lost loved ones to AIDS. And if you look right behind me, actually, this panel was made for Joyce Bowden. She is a local Bakersfield girl who died in 1993 from AIDS. And her panel was here last year as well, and we have that video. But in our county, more than 2,600 cases of HIV or AIDS has been reported since 1981, and Joyce Bowden lived with the disease for 8 years. Her mom has made it her mission to keep Joyce's legacy alive by raising awareness on the disease. And actually right now, Jackie Sullivan, Joyce's mom, is with me here. And Jackie, you really have made this something that you're very passionate about since you lost your daughter to this disease. But what is something you hope when people come in today, if they come and see the exhibit, that they realize about the disease?
Well, this is a powerful display, and of course the Bakersfield AIDS Project brings this to town every year in honor of World AIDS Day, December 1st. But I've met many of these families through the years, and of course they put their hearts into making the panels to honor their loved ones that have passed away. So I'm hoping people will come down and just look at the local panels and take the time to read the messages and read the dates that they were of their lives, the beginning and the ending of their lives, and these are our lives lost to this epidemic. Joyce's panel again is here, and we every year eagerly look forward to seeing her panel, and of course remembering just Joyce and her life, and remembering how we selected the pictures for the highlights of her life. And so it's a beautiful display, and you know, it deserves to have as much attention as possible. It's to warn people against this disease. So thank you.
Reporting live in downtown Bakersfield, I'm Paige Hansen for 17 News.
December is AIDS Awareness Month, and today part of the AIDS quilt is here in Bakersfield. The quilt first started in 1987 as an effort to remember those who died from the disease. Each panel represents a person who has died from AIDS. This is the second year the quilt has been up at the Metro Art Gallery downtown.
Between gay, straight, anywhere in between possibly, but it also shows that it's not just one category of person, not one type of person that this happens to.
In Kern County, 2,600 cases of AIDS have been reported since 1981, and the Department of Public Health says AIDS cases are on the rise. However, the number of deaths due to AIDS is falling because of antiviral medication. The quilt will be on display until 9 o'clock tonight at the Metro Art Gallery located on 19th Street. Viewing is free, and the names from the quilt, including several local names, will be read every 2 hours.
So last Wednesday was World AIDS Day, where several events took place across town remembering those who have lost their lives to that disease.
23 ABC's Chris Van Horn joins us now live with how the tribute to those lost continue today in downtown Bakersfield. Chris?
Well, Jackie, this is becoming an annual event here as the World AIDS Quilt has been on display all day here at Metro Galleries in downtown Bakersfield at 19th and I Streets. And it is the most visited and the largest piece of art in the world as it commemorates those who have lost their lives to HIV and AIDS. Names, faces, and personal messages. They adorn the 8 sections of the AIDS Memorial Quilt in Bakersfield and on display as part of World AIDS Day. It is a piece of art that travels the world constantly, aimed at remembering those who've died, inspiring those living with the disease, and to educate.
We have thousands of people in Kern County alone who live one way or another with HIV. And just so that people are exposed to the education and the awareness. Really, that's the only way we can battle the ignorance.
Michael Viola knew 33 of the lives that help make up the quilt, 91,000 people in total. He has lived with the disease for more than 20 years and calls seeing the quilt bittersweet as it reminds him of lost friends.
It's a calming effect being among the panels here, being among the whispers of the panels.
This is something that certainly is notable to have been brought to Bakersfield.
Audrey Chavez is the founder of the Bakersfield AIDS Project. The project, along with Kaiser, community donations, and Councilwoman Jackie Sullivan, whose daughter Joyce's panel is among those on display, helped bring part of the quilt here to help look beyond the statistics of a disease that more than 33 million people worldwide have.
And it's just absolutely gorgeous. Some of the pieces that have been created are just sewn with a lot of tears and love and talent, and are just as diverse as the population they represent.
And while just on display for the day in this setting, the goal is to bring awareness to the fact that the disease is still out there and has touched so many lives.
It just means a lot that Bakersfield is opening up and having this time so people can come through and experience the lives of each person that represented up on here.
And the quilts will be on display here at Metro Galleries until 9 o'clock tonight. And this sort of wraps up World AIDS Day, the events that have taken place over the last week. That was last Wednesday. This sort of wraps it up. But you can continue to help out the Bakersfield AIDS Project. To find out how you can do that, just log on to our website, turnto23.com. Click on the Central section. We have some links and information at the bottom of our story. For now, reporting live from downtown Bakersfield, Chris Van Horn, 23 ABC.